Have you ever seen a flower so perfect it almost doesn't look real? That is exactly why gardeners fall in love with dahlias. So today we are talking about how to grow dahlias the right way, what zones they grow best in, how to plant them, how to keep them blooming, and the top 5 most beautiful dahlias in the world for a show-stopping garden. So let's grow by zone. Dahlias are tender perennials, which means they can come back year after year in warm climates, but in colder zones, they usually need to be lifted and stored over winter. They are generally hardy in USDA zones 8 through 11. In zones 3 through 7, most gardeners grow them like annuals or dig up the tubers after frost and store them indoors until spring. Dahlias are native to Mexico and Central America, where they grow in warm mountain regions. The flower was named after Swedish botanist Anders Dahl, and today dahlias are one of the most loved cut flowers in the world. They are also the national flower of Mexico. One of the most exciting things about dahlias is the variety. There are decorative dahlias, cactus dahlias, ball dahlias, pompon dahlias, water lily dahlias, collarette dahlias, anemone dahlias, and dinner plate dahlias. Some stay compact at around 1 to 2 feet tall, while large dinner plate types can grow 4 to 6 feet tall and produce flowers 8 to 12 inches across. That means there's a dahlia for almost every garden style: containers, cottage gardens, cutting gardens, borders, and dramatic front yard flower beds. The best time to plant dahlias is after all danger of frost has passed and the soil has warmed up. This is important because dahlia tubers do not like cold, wet soil. If you plant them too early, they can rot before they ever start growing. Choose a spot with full sun. Dahlias need at least 6 to 8 hours of sunlight a day for the best blooms. They also need loose, rich, well-draining soil. If your soil is heavy clay, mix in compost and plant the tubers in a raised bed or mound to help with drainage. Plant the tuber about 4 to 6 inches deep with the eye facing up. The eye is the small growing point where the stem will sprout. Space smaller varieties about 12 to 18 inches apart and larger varieties about 18 to 36 inches apart, depending on how big they get. Here is one important tip. Do not water heavily right after planting unless your soil is extremely dry. The tuber does not have roots yet, so too much water early on can cause rot. Once you see growth above the soil, then begin watering more consistently. Tall dahlias should also be staked early. Do not wait until the plant is huge and already leaning. Add a stake when you plant so you do not damage the tuber later. Once dahlias start actively growing, they need consistent moisture. Water deeply about once or twice a week depending on your weather and soil. The goal is evenly moist soil, not soggy soil. Try to water at the base of the plant instead of spraying the leaves. Wet leaves can increase disease problems, especially in humid climates. Dahlias are heavy feeders, but too much nitrogen can give you giant leafy plants with fewer flowers. Use a balanced or low nitrogen fertilizer once the plant is growing well. A fertilizer that supports blooms is usually better than one that pushes lots of leafy growth. If you want bushier plants with more flowers, pinch the main growing tip when the plant is about 10 to 12 inches tall. This encourages side branches, which means more stems and more blooms. Deadheading is also important. When flowers fade, cut them off instead of leaving them on the plant. This tells the dahlia to keep producing more flowers instead of putting energy into seed production. For cut flowers, harvest dahlias when the bloom is mostly open. Dahlias do not open much after cutting, so do not cut tight buds expecting them to bloom in a vase. Use clean snips, cut early in the morning, and place the stems in water right away. One of the biggest dahlia problems is tuber rot. This usually happens when tubers are planted in cold, wet soil or watered too much before they begin growing. Pests can also be a problem. Slugs and snails may attack young growth. Earwigs can chew petals. Aphids can gather on tender stems. Spider mites can show up during hot, dry weather. Another common problem is powdery mildew, especially in late summer or in humid areas. Good airflow, proper spacing, and watering at the base of the plant can help reduce this. Dahlias can also get weak or floppy if they are not staked, especially large dinner plate types. If you live somewhere windy or get heavy summer storms, support is not optional. It is what keeps those big, beautiful stems from snapping. Beneficial insects like ladybugs, lacewings, hoverflies, and parasitic wasps can help control aphids and other small pests naturally. If you live in zones 8 through 11, you may be able to leave dahlia tubers in the ground over winter, especially if your soil drains well and does not stay cold and wet. But in zones 3 through 7, you will usually need to dig them up after the first frost blackens the foliage. Cut the stems back. Carefully lift the tubers with a garden fork and let them dry in a protected place. Brush off excess soil, but do not wash them aggressively before storage unless you can dry them completely. Store the tubers in a cool, dark place where they will not freeze. Many gardeners use peat moss, vermiculite, wood shavings, or slightly dry potting mix. The goal is to keep them from drying out completely, but also keep them from staying too wet and rotting. Check them a few times during winter. If they are shriveling badly, they may need a little more moisture. If they are molding or soft, they may be too wet. Then in spring, once the soil warms up again, you can replant them and start the whole beautiful cycle over. Now let's count down the top 5 most beautiful dahlias in the world. Number 5, Arabian Night. It is a deep burgundy dahlia that can look almost black in the right lighting. It is bold, moody, dramatic, and perfect if you want a flower that adds richness and contrast to the garden. This dahlia usually grows about 3 to 4 feet tall and produces medium-sized blooms that look amazing in cut flower arrangements. If you love dark romantic garden colors, Arabian Night is unforgettable. Number 4 is Pinhill Watermelon. This is a huge dinner plate dahlia with soft pink, peach, coral, and watermelon tones that blend together beautifully. The flowers can get massive, often reaching 8 to 10 inches across. Pinhill watermelon usually grows around 4 to 5 feet tall and definitely needs support. This is the dahlia you plant when you want people to stop and say, "What is that flower?" Number 3 is Labyrinth. Labyrinth is one of the most artistic looking dahlias you can grow. The petals twist and curl in shades of peach, pink, apricot, and coral, giving the flower a soft, almost painted look. It usually grows about 3 to 4 feet tall and produces large, dramatic blooms. Labyrinth is perfect for a romantic cutting garden because every flower looks slightly different. Number 2 is Florel. Florel is a white dinner plate dahlia with huge, elegant blooms that can look clean, expensive, and bridal. The flowers can reach around 8 to 10 inches across, and the plant usually grows about 3 to 4 feet tall. This is one of the best dahlias for a classic, high-end garden look. And number 1 is Cafe au Lait. This is one of the most famous dahlias in the world, and for good reason. Cafe au Lait has huge dinner plate blooms in creamy blush, beige, champagne, soft pink, and sometimes peachy tones. Every bloom can look a little different, which makes it feel even more special. It usually grows about 4 to 5 feet tall and produces enormous flowers that are loved by florists, brides, and cut flower gardeners. Cafe au Lait is romantic, elegant, soft, and unforgettable. If you want one dahlia that gives the garden that luxury flower farm feeling, this is the one. Dahlias may look expensive and difficult, but once you understand the basics, warm soil, full sun, good drainage, support, deadheading, and winter storage, they become one of the most rewarding flowers you can grow. They bring color, drama, huge blooms, and some of the most beautiful flowers in the garden world. If this helped, save this list and share it with a garden friend who loves big, beautiful flowers. And if you want to know what grows best in your zone, make sure to follow along, because here on Grow by Zone, we are growing plant by plant, zone by zone, and helping you grow smarter wherever you live.